What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Taurean Brain Reloaded channel. If you are new, please be sure to go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that bell, and have your notifications set to all so you'll be notified every time I upload a new video or go live. Also, be sure to like, comment, and share this content on your various social media platforms. So as you can see right here, this is a picture of Chris Brown, and this is actually I guess you could say a thumbnail. Well, not a thumbnail, but a screen capture, a screenshot of a very recent interview that he did with Big Boy on his platform. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play some audio for you because, again, the whole Michael Jackson versus Chris Brown debate has come up yet again. And finally, Chris Brown is speaking out saying, that he's not better than Michael Jackson, or he feels that he's not going to be better than him or trying to compete with Michael Jackson on any level because he was an inspiration to him. It's a very humble response, but I'm going to play the audio for you. Then I'm going to talk a little bit more about this, as well as how Michael Jackson's name seems to always come up and they're trying to make him a dead man being in competition with these other artists, and how I've talked about this in the past and who this actually comes from and why I feel it really needs to stop.
Up in here, Chris Brown, big interview. Chris Brown, you've been getting a lot of people, man. Now, and you've always given it to Michael Jackson. But now you're getting people where they say, man, Chris is better than. You know what I'm saying? How do you take that?
That's cap.
I'm glad you said that.
That is cap.
And the reason why I'm saying I'm glad you said that, because I don't consider myself better than Michael Jackson. You know what I'm saying? And we already know when it comes to dancing and things of that nature.
You got that, yeah. Use those.
You know what I'm saying? If I'm not better than Michael,
yeah,
how can Chris Brown be better than Michael?
at all?
Yeah, but how do you take that? You just say like,
I mean, I stay the hell up out of it. I don't keep it 100. Like, I kind of back off it. Like, my personal take on it is like, I wouldn't even be breathing or even being able to sing a song if that man didn't exist. So. I don't know if they look at it as the Jordan Kobe thing, but I can't even look at it. He's light years away. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, there is no competing with him. You know what I'm saying?
Is it crazy?
No, hell no. I got shrines and shit in here of this man hanging up in my house. Hell no.
Is it crazy, man, that you looked at MJ growing up, and not that people will compare or better than, but you're that guy that people always bring up when it comes to being, man, I wouldn't even say a quadruple threat, but just do everything, sing, dance, perform, just everything. Not that is it crazy, but you're that guy that people always want to put up against you or see you go up against someone else. Like you're the guy that's on the mountain.
I probably can only say this is just my fearlessness. I don't think, meaning the fearlessness allows me to be like, cool, I don't even care what they gonna say, or how this gonna look. I'm gonna dance. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna. You can ask questions like, hey, what's this do? But like, you get what I'm saying? I feel like my learning capability never shuts off. So I think when I want to do music, or when I want to do just different dancing, I don't let it hinder me.
All right, so that was pretty much it. Not about to segue into another topic of discussion, but I have to give kudos to Chris Brown for giving that response, because it's a very humbling response. Like, Big Boy asked him, how do you feel about people comparing you or trying to better than you when it comes to Michael Jackson? Because that's always been the thing. Because Michael Jackson personally, gave Chris Brown the wink of the nod back, when Chris Brown first got started back like in 2005, and even in, those years. And it's crazy when you think about it, because who would have thought that when Chris Brown came out in 2005, we would only have Michael Jackson with us for another 4 years? Because, 4 years later, unfortunately, he ended up passing on. But there's always been that thing there. Yes, we know that Chris Brown is extremely talented. We know he knows that he's talented. We know he can sing, he can dance, he can do a whole bunch of different things. But even he has to say that. He even said it right there. He said that's cap. That's a lie. He's like, I don't want to be better, or there's no way I can be better than Michael Jackson, because Michael Jackson is the blueprint. He is the blueprint. Notice a lot of the people that a lot of people try to have people say, what do you think about Michael Jackson versus this person and this person? First off, Michael Jackson is in a whole lane of his own. He carved out his own lane and did his own thing everybody else is either emulating him or they're taking inspiration from him. And like I said in previous videos, when you think of different artists and who a lot of them say their inspiration was, Michael Jackson is probably somewhere in that list. And it doesn't even matter what genre of music that they do. I've heard R&B artists, of course, say Michael Jackson is an inspiration. Pop artists for sure say Michael Jackson is an inspiration. Hip hop artists have said Michael Jackson is an inspiration. You even had people who do country say Michael Jackson was an inspiration. That's why I say he was the king of music. It's the reason why they say he's an inspiration, because a lot of those artists have either maybe sang one of his songs before, listened to his music, or even sampled some of his songs in their music, or dance styles. Like, this guy was just literally like a web, like a spider web. Like, he started in the center and just sprawled out, and you can pinpoint the different pieces on the web of where he was inspiring people. Shoot, some people will say Michael Jackson was an inspiration on the business side, because everyone knows or should know that Michael Jackson was a very shrewd businessman. Like, this guy had a lot of very profitable investments, that Sony Publishing being one of the main ones. That's how he really amassed most of his wealth outside of his music and his catalog. He was making money off of other people's music. I've always told people, when it comes to people who do like acting or singing or anything like that, or their base of getting their millions, what sends them to the billionaire status is not what they started off as a foundation, is what they did on the business investment side. Y'all think LeBron James became a billionaire just playing basketball? You think Rihanna became a billionaire just singing? You think Tyler Perry became a billionaire just doing stage plays and movies? I can go on and on. I know I kind of went off a little bit, but I had to just throw that in there. But this is a conversation that keeps coming up with Michael Jackson. They've been doing it with Chris Brown. They did it with The Weeknd. I did it with a video about that. They tried to do it with Justin Bieber. I don't even know how. Of course, it was Michael Jackson and Usher and a whole bunch of other artists. Honestly, it's not even the artists that are bringing up this conversation when it comes to the whole Michael Jackson versus this person, or this person versus Michael Jackson, this person being better than Michael Jackson. The people who are doing it are the quote unquote fans. And I'm not talking about fans of Michael Jackson, because I feel like if you are a true fan of Michael Jackson, you would not be doing this. I feel that it's the people who like these other artists, these other people, and they're doing this to spark a conversation or try to say something controversial in order for clicks and views and retweets and whatnot. So I saw people like get on, and I think what sparked this conversation that Big Boy had asked him was because someone had posted something on Twitter saying that Chris Brown is better than Michael Jackson. They didn't even ask it in the form of a question. They just said, they didn't ask, do you think Chris Brown is better than Michael Jackson? They didn't even put it as a poll. They just flat out said Chris Brown is better than Michael Jackson. Like I said, that's a very blaspheming statement to say. And it's crazy how all these comparisons come up while this man is deceased. The man been dead since 2009. And then it makes me also question the age of the people posing these statements. Like, how old are you? When were you born? Granted, I wasn't born during the Thriller era. I was born during the Bad era. So, but even then, that was still Michael Jackson's prime. I mean, we're talking about a guy who literally started his career in the 60s with his brothers, in the 70s with his brothers, in the late 70s, well, mid 70s, he started to branch off and do his own solo thing while still working with his brothers. But then in the late 70s, that's when he became a complete solo artist. 80s, ran it. 90s, ran it to an extent. Early 2000s, he kind of hit a little bit of a rough patch, but he still had that a little bit on lock. I don't care what anybody say, that Invincible album is fire. And even down to the end of his life, I have a feeling that if he was able to go on with that tour, that thing would have been massive. So you got to think, this guy has been literally making music since the 60s, since he was 5. This man has been active 45 out of the 50 years of his life. Now, y'all tell me who's doing that today. And then we can talk about who's better than who. But shout out to Chris Brown for giving that response. That was a very humbling response. I didn't expect him to give anything less than that, because he's always said Michael Jackson was an inspiration. You can always tell that he was inspired by him. Like, you can, like, literally, it's like looking at like a MJ Jr. to some degree. But I'm glad he didn't say that, oh, thank you, I appreciate it, you know, I am better than, no. Because then I would have looked at Chris Brown with a side eye, and I think many of us would too. But it's the so-called fans that keep pushing that. That's not the artists themselves. Like, I've picked up on that pattern, or, you know, on that notion. It's the so-called fans that are doing this. But shout out to Chris Brown for this, for saying that. I'm glad that he's also, again, I always say in a lot of my videos when I talk about Chris Brown, I'm glad that he's getting his life back on track. It's seeming like it is back on track. He, you know, he had a lot going on in his life. And I think that's another comparison that he and Michael Jackson could have, is that they've had their bouts of scandals in their careers that could have, like, somewhat hindered them, but they'll find a way to bounce back. And so the thing is, Michael Jackson's star power was so powerful that those little scandals and controversies, it didn't phase the fans. That's what you call being a true fan. Nowadays, a lot of people don't know how to be true fans. Like, if something like this happens, they'll fall off, even if it's not true. But I'm glad that he's seemingly getting his life together. It sounds like he's, you know, coming through, or trying to, I think he's about to go on tour, if I'm not mistaken. So, you know, he has his family, you know, I believe he has 2 kids. I think he has 2 daughters. So let the man live his life. Let him do his thing. He's human, just like the rest of us. He makes mistakes, but, you know, the world will never let him forget. But that's the cost of being a black man in America. And even Michael Jackson knew that, as big as a star as he was. Now, people want to talk about who is so powerful. Well, we know who doesn't have that much power, even if they have that much wealth. Ask Bill Cosby about that one. And that's my take on it.